Are we putting the personal back and forth aside? Can this be the day the two of you are going to be able to do business and be friends?
I think that in order to progress the sport, in order to grow the sport, we must come together. And rivalry, there'll probably be rivalry.
I hope so.
And that's what we're here for, is to make sure we make the best fights happen. I literally have no beef whatsoever. I mean, I want to make the best fights happen. That's the bottom line. And that's exactly what we're doing.
I think what His Excellency's doing, like I said today, you've got all the power players of boxing. It's quite unique that they all sit there and discuss ideas, because normally we don't want to let anyone know our thoughts. We just want to win. We want to be the ones putting on the great fights. But as I said, we made another fight today, Golden Boy and Matchroom. It's a tremendous fight. We got...
Great. Catterall Barboza done. Big up everything boxing. It looks like it's going to Manchester, February the 15th. So the deal is done. Good. But as for Oscar saying he's got no beef, after that clapback about Sky Nicholson and Eddie, I tell you what, man, I wouldn't like to have beef with that guy if that's not beef. He's a snake. Larry Merchant once said, when Oscar De La Hoya fights African Americans, he carries the Mexican flag. When he fights non-African Americans, he carries the American flag. Snake.
I hear a rattlesnake, man, I'm tired of all these fake.
Turkey Alice Sheikh has also said he could do another event in May. The two options are Queensbury, Matchroom 5 vs 5 rematch, or a UK vs USA 6 vs 6. The Matchroom Queensbury would be on the UK side, Golden Boy and Top Rank on the US side. Okay, so Frank and Eddie versus Oscar and Bob. That's interesting. Now, I'm going to put the disclaimers in what I'm going to say next. Some people are still going to get in their feelings, right? Remember, the disclaimer is there, yeah? I'm not no big businessman, right? Not as successful as I could be. And I don't think I'm in the boardroom with Eddie Frank. Most of us are going to die broke, not really pass on anything of any significance to our kids because of our mindsets. There's some people going to say, if I was Eddie, I would never work with Oscar after what he said on Clapback. I would never work with Frank Warren after the previous relationship. Look at Eddie cheerleading for Tyson Fury. I thought he was on AJ's side. The bottom line is, promoters have a different relationship with the game. That's the bottom line than the boxer does, yeah? And until you can get past the, oh, that's contradiction, morals, you know, like, if you're going to put the moral thing in why Conor Benn can't get 50-50 with Chris Eubank, you can never sit on the boardroom table, right? Because you're confusing... You're trying to conflate two different dynamics, morality and negotiating the best deal you can get for yourself. You're trying to conflate them and it doesn't really work on the business table. But you're too in your feelings to see that. Look at the stuff that Bob Arum and Eddie Hearn have said about each other. Top Rank have now signed an exclusive deal to Dazn. It was being said they weren't going to go over there. They were going to look for other options, but the money that Dazn put in front of them couldn't resist. They took the deal. What, you don't think Eddie and Bob Arum's relationship is going to change now? Of course it's going to change. And even if it doesn't, Top Rank will just get someone else to go and deal with Eddie when necessary. But the show goes on, beef or not. And Eddie Hearn said it himself with Bob Arum. Bob Arum will come out slating him. Eddie, shit promoter and this and that. And then minutes later, he'll go up to Eddie. Are we going to do this deal for this fight? How are we going to get the deal done? Eddie's got 2 fights with Golden Boy. Catterall Barboza, Shakur Stevenson, Floyd Schofield. He's got 2 fights with them. But some of you will be like, after that clapback thing, I'd never do business with Eddie. And that's all well and good. But you have to realize people don't give a shit about your feelings on a negotiating table. No one gives a shit. Your paymasters at Dazn are going to give you a task to make that fight. The Saudis are going to give you a task to make that fight. And if you're all teary-eyed in my feelings, you are useless to all of them people. And remember, I did put the disclaimer down there. I'm not a big business person. Yeah? I'm going to end up broke just like you on the street. With a blanket and a cardboard box. Because I've got that loser's mentality too. You know what I mean? Only thing is, I'm owning it. You guys won't own it. Conor Benn can't get 50-50 because he failed a drugs test. Okay, right, okay. Then someone was telling me that the comments make me laugh on my videos. Somebody was saying there's less morals in taking PEDs than there is stealing illegal streams. Well, what's the science behind that, right? Because Chris is saying all this shit here, yeah? when he tried to blackmail Conor to give him more money and he would have went through with the fight. But you're all on Chris Eubank's side. And you don't think taking billions out of the pot is hurting fighters. Remember, there's a trickle-down effect. Let's take someone like Matchroom. Matchroom do high-scale world title fights all around the globe on pay-per-view. The trickle-down effect is their small hall next-gen cards, which trickles down to top-tier promotions, huge promotions, or maybe GMB, which their prospects like the girl Maisie, I forgot her surname, Jimmy Sains, Lidard, and the rest of them fight on. And the rest of the small hall fighters who are trying to get on them cards as well. There's a trickle-down effect. You're taking billions out of the pot, which is stopping a lot of prospects and a lot of promoters, right, putting on more cards so more of the small hall fighters can stay busy. And small hall boxing is the lifeblood of the sport. But there you are moralizing about who's taking pets. You're just rationalizing what's more moral or what's less moral. You're just rationalizing. That's all you're doing. And anyone agreeing and pays pay-per-view and subscription, that motherfucker there who's saying that shit there, he's bumping up your subscription prices, right? Don't talk to me about morals. Go steal your stream and brag on social media that you didn't pay for it. Before you tried to get slick, I didn't say taking PEDs was worse or better than stealing fights. They're both crimes, and neither one is victimless. It's not just the boxers, there's the entourage, there's maybe the food vendor, the bar, security, ushers. Lots of people lose out. There's a lot of people that have that mentality. And hey, I've took illegal streams before, but I haven't took them thinking, alright, this is my moral right, or I'm more moral than anyone else. I haven't did that. I don't think of it like that. And I've told people in my chat, I don't have a problem with you taking an illegal stream. I have a problem with people who take illegal streams and rationalize it like certain motherfuckers do, or start bragging that I got the stream for free. Not thinking that, yo, you're stealing from us. The people you're bragging to about stealing it, you're stealing from them. If everybody was paying for the stream, we could still be paying 1990 prices. £50 a year for Dazn. £10 a pay-per-view in the UK. The Conor Benn obsession is weird. It's weird. Like, the case itself, the British Boxing Board of Control did not tell Eddie to use VADA, to use extra layers of testing for the card. They didn't tell him. He done that off his own back. Matchroom and Dazn. They done it off their own back. And that's what busted Conor. No one's come out and said Matchroom used more layers of testing than other fighters, so they're more vulnerable to get caught. And that's why that kid, Dennis, got bagged the other day. He got bagged by VADA. 2 layers of testing. Now, did Eddie and the Sowlands handle it shockingly bad? Yeah, they did. But no worse than the British Boxing Board of Control did. They had the information when Eddie Hearn had it. And it wasn't until they got hold of someone who was going to leak the story that they got out there and put it out, that they're not going to sanction the Benn Eubank fight. And they didn't say it was because Ben had PEDs. They just said it wasn't good for boxing. Do you know how much cards go on in the UK every year, small hall and bigger promoters? But I'm not going to put no names out there. But there's no testing, no UCAD testing at all. Dave Allen spoke about it. Liam Smith spoke about it before his second fight with Eubank. How much testing did Eubank do with UCAD before his second fight with Liam Smith? He was in America all the time. Well, you think UCAD is sending people out on planes to go look for Chris Eubank? No. Was Chris being tested by VADA? Out of his own pocket? One of my favorite channels is Curtis Woodhouse. And he spoke about British fighters still doing ticket deals with promoters, which mean they could end up going in that ring fighting for nothing. But the British Boxing Board of Control turn a blind eye to it. I'm not even saying they're wrong, because if they didn't, a lot of the cards would get cancelled. Literally get cancelled. Because we're dealing with small hall boxing, where they don't have the profit margins to always make the right decision. Like, pay out extra to UCAD for testing. Like, put this kid on a ticket deal. It's all hushed under the carpet. But there you are, stuck on Conor Benn every second. It just gets annoying. Why don't you show us the dossier? I could read the dossier. I got a tachograph in my lorry. That would show me how to read it. Are you an idiot?
What are you, an idiot?
He went through the channels that everybody said he should go through, that he was supposed to go through, and he's cleared to box. And with this Dennis McCann situation, let's see if they've learnt their lessons. At first, with Billy Joe Saunders, they didn't acknowledge VADA testing. With Conor Benn, they acknowledged VADA testing. And as they are the commission for tomorrow's event between Usyk and Fury, what are they going to do? They're going to turn a blind eye? Or are they going to react to what VADA come up with? Are they going to conduct their own investigation like they did with Conor? Or are they not going to acknowledge VADA? And you see, these are things that a lot of you complaining about Conor. Conor's just an athlete who got caught up in the system. He'll come and go. Boxers' careers don't last long. But we want to see the legislators do their job properly. Or are they going to get caught out again? After the Billy Joe Saunders case, they should have spoke with VADA and WADA. How can we stay on the same page when both UKAD and VADA are testing boxers on the same card? But they did nothing. They just sat back and did fuck all. VADA don't have to do anything, right? They're the second party on a card that is commissioned by the board. They don't have to do nothing. It's up to the board to do something. VADA only approach to test athletes when the commission comes to them or the promoter comes to them. UKAD protocol is to test every boxer licensed by the board, right? Protocol. And there's the British Boxing Board of Control. Oh, if Conor Benn did this and this and that, we wouldn't have these issues. You see, if their policies were in place, then Simon Jordan wouldn't be calling them a toothless tiger who had no authority to deal with the fallout from Ben Gate. They shouldn't be blaming the boxer. Whether the boxer is dirty or not, they shouldn't be blaming the boxer. Their policy on doping protocol should be lined out that all you people who want to read the fucking dossier, bullcrap, you should be able to go on their webpage, get the PDF, and see the exact procedure between athletes on a British Boxing Board of Control sanction card being tested by UKAD or any outside doping agency, example, VADA, how they approach adverse findings and positive tests. But they haven't got nothing. They did nothing. But that's not an issue to all these people who want to keep talking about Conor Benn. It's not an issue to them. You know why? Because they don't really give a f about doping protocol. They just don't like Conor Benn or Eddie Hearn, if we're being honest about it. People are still talking about that three-way discussion between Usyk, Fury, saying they can't trust Turki Al-Sheikh. The guy is blatantly supporting Tyson Fury to win. Well, here's the thing in life. You have to either let people be real or encourage a culture where they say the things that you want to hear, but they don't really mean it. By him openly supporting Tyson Fury, if there are any shenanigans and Fury gets preferential treatment from the referee or the judges, then he's an open target, Turki Al-Sheikh. They're going to point to the three-way conversation and any other receipts they've got to say this was pre-planned.
And you as well? Yeah? So you're going to be nice, and you're definitely not on the fence for this fight. Turki Al-Sheikh is backing Tyson Fury to do the business on Saturday night. The one thing...
You can add that to the receipts. That's what he said at the press conference yesterday. Eddie Hearn quoted him verbatim. If you're going to fix it for Tyson Fury, you surely wouldn't be cheerleading him unless you want to get caught. He wanted a rubber match because he sees it as the better outcome for the fans. They'd have a classic trilogy. That's what he wanted. If he was all up on Tyson Fury like that, why didn't he give Tyson the verdict in May? If he's even capable of doing that. You know, the likes of Eddie Hearn have been accused of Matchroom fighters getting favourable decisions. Well, the two prospects, house fighters on that Matchroom card in Puerto Rico, lost split decisions. That could have went the other way. And I'm not saying Eddie Hearn or Turki Al-Sheikh are not capable of corruption, but no more than any small hall promoter in the UK or anywhere around the world or higher up promoter. I heard Tevin Farmer's management were trying to talk to me about potential corruption between Saudi Arabia and the media, them buying out the Ring magazine and seemingly every sanctioning body. And Tevin Farmer was on video even up to the other day talking about the testing that didn't occur when he fought William Cepeda. And only a few outlets are listening to him. So I'm not saying they're not incapable of corruption. I'm not saying that. But there may be many reasons why a small hall promoter or a larger promoter might want one fighter to win over the other. But they're not going to voice it out vocally. First, Turki is not a promoter. Well, at least I don't think he is. And he's just airing out what he wants to happen. When AJ was fighting Francis Ngannou, he let Francis know, you're not beating our guy. The way he saw it, AJ's going to clean this up for boxing. And maybe that's why Francis got a little paranoid after. He probably thinks he was set up in his mind. He had all these conspiracy theories that he was drugged. They made him wait too long in the dressing room. They're taking him to the media events too early, etc., etc. Well, you got knocked out. The bottom line is, be suspicious of all of them. Whether they say they're neutral or they look like they're blatantly biased. Be suspicious of all of them. A lot of shit can be hidden under the guise of I'm neutral. Trust me on that. Not just in boxing. Action speaks louder than words.
And on purpose, or was 50-50, or just from your point of view?
I'm asking for a lot less than I should be.
Here's the thing though. If Chris was overwhelmingly the A side, like he believes, and a lot of people who are taking his side against Conor, and that's the majority from what I see on social media, why are you giving him 45%? What A side fighter gives up that much of the percentage? An A side fighter, didn't Tyson Fury take 70% against Usyk? And Usyk accepted. Why isn't Chris doing that? I mean, Conor's nothing according to Chris and according to those who are siding with Chris. Why 55-45? 70-30? Conor was getting even less of a split when they tried to make the fight in 2022. But Chris is 35 years of age now. He's 2 years older. He's been knocked out by Liam Smith since. He needs to fight just as much as Conor. Maybe even more because Conor's younger, 27. He's got at least 5 good years left in him, theoretically. How much years does Chris have left?
Giving him 45% is a gift. They should be calling me Father Christmas for the generosity that offer is.
Or that gift of a turkey bag he got against Zarameta the other day, he's not getting it against Lara. The Shearer ship sailed. He was offered $5 million to take that. Doesn't really want to take the Lara fight. We know he turned down the Janibek fight. And the bottom line is, Chris is going to have to take a hard fight to make the bag outside Conor Benn. I believe he beats Conor easy. Relatively easy. On points, possibly late stoppage. Is that why he fumbled the Canelo bag? Because Canelo's failed a test. He probably told Ben Shalom, yo, he's failed a test. We're the A side now. And believes it. Billy Joe Saunders has popped, hasn't he? What if they was to have a rematch? Well, Billy, you failed a test. I get more of the split. Okay, the fact that Billy's a double weight world champion and has the better resume counts for nothing. I mean, Billy could walk away from the table saying, I beat Chris already. Show me the example where someone's failed PED test became a factor in them not getting a higher split than they would have got if they didn't get popped. Show me an example, all you people who are defending Chris on that point. Confusing morality and business.
I believe the first fight, it was Chris Eubank versus Conor Benn. You were the apparent A side. The fight didn't happen not because of anything to do with yourself. Does that give you a stronger claim to say, look, it's not my fault the fight kind of didn't happen. It was out of my control. I turned up fight week. By all accounts, you're on weight by the pictures you're uploading. Does that give you a bit more of a bargaining chip when you're saying, no, look, that's why I'm commanding more of a purse?
When you fail his drugs test, you don't get 50-50 split.
He earned some good purses. 1.5 against Groves in the semi-final. That was the guarantee. Whatever they earned on the pay-per-view would have increased their purses. The World Boxing Super Series pay-per-views on ITV for the British fighters flopped abysmally. And Chris was in a lot of them. He fought Reynold Quillen, he fought Arthur Abraham, he fought George Groves, fought James DeGale. The James DeGale fight cut off the pay-per-view signal. They weren't doing it no more, right? It weren't just Chris. Callum Smith against Groves didn't do any numbers. And Chris fought on the undercard of Callum Smith and Groves. These fights didn't do no numbers. Yeah? So when you're saying he's done pay-per-view, like, just doing pay-per-view alone does not give you leverage to become an A-side fighter. You've got to actually sell big numbers in pay-per-views to get the leverage. Just being in the pay-per-view alone is not enough. But they don't understand that. All Chris does, put on a nice suit, articulates a few words. Oh, look at Chris schooling Conor. He ain't doing shit. Fumbled the Golovkin bag. Fumbled the Shiraz bag. Fumbled the Janibek fight. Fumbled so many fights. Gonna fumble this one as well. That's the bottom line. Never won a world title. 34 years of age. How far are you going back when he made them purses in the World Super Series. About 6 years ago. How much did he get from the PBC for fighting Matt Kobarov? What, $1 million? I don't know. If he got $1 million, he should have stayed over there. And these people supporting Chris, they seem to think all these so-called accolades carry their negotiating power indefinitely throughout the whole of your career. Matchroom are not giving Chris the charity fight, as Eddie Hearn said it. They're not going to give him that. I pointed out the stats. And then, oh boy, this is why I'm ranting today. Somebody said the poll that I took from Rob Tebbit, which showed 34% of the audience are going to watch Usyk versus Fury through Dazn, 10% TNT, 15% Sky. You know what somebody tried to tell me? Oh, that's a hardcore boxing audience, it doesn't count. I had to tell them, I tell you what, yeah, you get me a poll with a sample size of more people, then you can talk. Until then, you got nothing to say. That's a big sample size for a fringe sport like boxing. 2,000 sample size is pretty big. That's what Rob Tebbit would get. That's probably what Hatman Strikes Back would get. It's a decent size. And if casuals ain't taking part in the poll, it don't make it any less relevant. The 10-minute, 11-minute stare. A lot of people are talking about Fury's intensity. And they could have a case. I don't think Fury wants to be there. Not that he's afraid of Alexander Usyk or the challenge. I think Fury's had enough of boxing. He's made so much money now. He's took his first L. I don't think he took it as bad as he thought he would have done. And I think he's just looking forward to the next chapter. He wants this check. The stare, yes, it's showing competitive edge from Fury and Usyk. It's showing competitive edge. And he's going to give it his all. And he won't know he's beaten until he's beaten. I'll give Fury that credit. But it doesn't matter if Fury comes in light. Oh, Fury's looking light, they're saying. Or Fury's looking heavy. It doesn't matter either way. The yo-yo dieting has caught up. Some people are saying Fury's confused. 1 minute he says he's not going to change much, which means he's going to try and then he's saying, I'm going to bring the pain, I'm going to brutalize him. Well, he's not confused. He needs to do both. He needs to be able to box from distance and he needs to rough Usyk up. He does need both strategies. This is going to be a difficult fight for Tyson Fury. Not because he lacks ability, no. He showed his ability in the first fight. But Usyk took something away from him. He's took the enjoyment out of fighting. He didn't look like he was enjoying the press conference to me. And I've never really seen that with Tyson Fury. He's always got jokes. But now, he's getting out-gamed by the Joker now. And he doesn't like it. All the rabbit, middleweight, jibes, and that's worked on other people. It's worked on Wilder. It's worked on Dillian. Whatever he done to Dillian, that put Dillian in some kind of trance and sapped him from that energy we associate with with that energy that we associate Dillian. It worked with them. It worked with Vladimir Klitschko. And I told Mr. Bashir, pre-fights, before Vlad got in the ring with Tyson Fury's in Vlad's head. He said, it doesn't matter if he's in Vlad's head. I said, okay. So now Fury's reduced to no smack talking, because he can't really win there, can't really get the psychological gamesmanship over Usyk. So the long stare, there's going to be a lot of pain in the ring. Does that mean he's going to be reckless? I wouldn't have thought so. I'm picking Usyk. Said that 100 times already. Doesn't matter. Points, stoppage. I'm not gambling on the outcome. It doesn't matter to me.